So I'm so happy to welcome you to this meeting here today. This is part of a series of meetings we do during the year. We have about 4 meetings where WIN, in collaboration with an organization, typically one of our sponsor partners, do a meeting. So this time it's so exciting. We're working with DSM, a company that we have worked with for several years and who we know is putting gender, sustainability, and all the right things that we also work for on the agenda very highly. So we're very appreciative and grateful for this collaboration and for this meeting today. So some of you might be new also to WIN, so I just want to welcome you also to WIN. So WIN is a global leadership organization that's been advancing women for more than 24 years. We work worldwide to inspire women leaders and an increasing number of men. We connect, we develop, and more than anything, we empower these authentic and more feminine ways of being in the world, in the workplace, and in our very lives. And we do so best. We are most known for our annual flagship event that's called the Global WIN Conference that is being held live in a series of capitals around Europe and also in Japan, India, and Middle East, and Africa. And now with success, more and more online. And this is the basic introduction to WIN. And I'm so happy to have you here today, where we are going to have several speakers when we discuss the very exciting topic and very topical topic of thriving at life and at work with both our health and nutrition in place, and also looking at how can we have our sustainable employability. So this is very exciting topic. And as we are learning from our speakers, we also have a chance to ask them some questions, and we will have interactive groups where we are sharing and you are sharing what you think about some of these topics. And this is a great chance not only to have the knowledge sharing happening, but also to build some network, build some new connections, get to know some new people. So when we are together and there are people from other companies, there's DSM, there are different backgrounds, different ages, different corporate level, we always say at WIN, put on your most open you. So if you hear people with accents you haven't heard before, different way of talking, you are open to that. This is an open environment where you're here to learn, and that's also the key to embrace and celebrate diversity. And we are ready to, so in the small groups, don't be shy to talk, we reach out and we allow everybody to be a part of it. So ready to connect, quick to contribute, we take some risk, and we commit. So if you commit to do something for others, you do it afterwards as committed to. And we take some great expectations in all of that, and if you do so, there's always some magic happening at these meetings. So with that, I'm in, and I am also happy to hand the word over to DSM and to Cristina Monteiro. And Cristina is the CHO of DSM. She has a long-standing experience in human resources, working for many different companies. She's lived in the US, in Greece, in Portugal, and Switzerland. Being an Italian national, she's currently living in Switzerland with his commute to the Holland, to the Netherlands. I know, mother of 2 active lady. It's an honor to have you here, Cristina. And please, the floor is yours. The Zoom is yours.
Thank you. I think we're going to start with the video. So let's play the video first. Thank you.
Wonderful.
At DSM, our journey to create brighter lives for all starts with our people. Around the world, across our history, and throughout our organization, our talented people have always made the difference and driven us forward. In recent times, forces such as digitalization and COVID-19 have again underlined the importance of our people, as well as changing how we work, where we work, and the kind of work we do. And to ensure that our people can continue to feel at home in DSM, give the best of themselves, and offer their unique contribution wherever and whoever they are, our organization must continue to change and adapt too. That is why, next to our long-standing efforts to deliver for planet and profit, we are dialing up our focus on people. The P for people will be one of the most critical success factors on our path to a bright future and therefore we need to invest in it. So, how are we doing this? Through our new people and organization strategy. At the heart of it is our DSM Culture Compass. The compass expresses who we are: courageous, collaborative, and caring, and what we stand for: taking responsibility, championing sustainability, and delivering value. It inspires everything we do, guides our day-to-day interactions and decisions, and informs our behavior. And it is reinforced through modern and flexible rewards. On top, employee experience and analytics lie at the heart of how we provide value and drive the 4 strategic focus areas of our people and organization strategy at DSM. So, let's take a look at these 4 strategic areas. First, so that we can best respond to our ever-changing environment and customer needs, we will create a flotilla-style organization, designed fit for purpose with agile and empowered teams and units, while continuing the course set from the center. Second, to help all our colleagues respond to and keep resilient through the change, as well as develop future skills for their own sustainable employability, we will empower our people by providing an environment where everyone can take ownership of their growth, development, and performance. Third, we will create a contemporary workplace fit for a post-pandemic next normal by leveraging digital technologies, fostering an inclusive environment, and adjusting our ways of working in line with our focus on sustainability and purpose. Number 4. Given the significant change in all the above areas, we will reset the context for leadership by transforming people managers into leaders as coaches, able to enhance team performance and create an inspiring working environment for DSM and our people to succeed. By realigning our organization, empowering our people, and amplifying our culture, we will enable our organization and all our people to succeed, accelerating our journey to create brighter lives for all in purpose-led, performance-driven DSM. Together.
Thank you, and I hope you can hear me. And I hope you also know why I started off with this video, because the topic of today is so central to our people strategy. When you look at our people strategy and everything we're trying to do, having the right culture, the right workplace, and the right sustainable employability for our people are 3 of 5 key areas of everything that we're working on, because we really care about this. Our culture, and I don't know how much everyone who's on the line knows about DSM. I won't spend a lot of time on DSM because you will feel it through the next 2 talks that are coming up. But I do want to welcome everybody. And I do want to thank everybody for spending a bit of time with us, whether it's some of our colleagues or maybe some other people that are in the network of WIN, a great organization with whom we have a very long-standing partnership. I do want to welcome you to this topic, particularly because it is very close to our heart and everything that we work on. Health and women's health and personal health, resilience and sustainable employability through everything we've gone through in the last year and are still going through with COVID-19 is just of crucial importance. We care very much about it at DSM. We care very much about it and talk about it with our employees. We've done a number of initiatives around it, and I think Muriel may be talking about some of those as well, particularly in terms of keeping our people healthy, not just physically. Some of our products really do help with that, but also mentally from an emotional perspective. So I hope all of you are doing well today. I want to wish you a wonderful session. I don't want to take any time out of it. I want to go straight to the next topics, which I'm sure will be fascinating for you. And thanks again, Christine, for this partnership together. Thank you.
Thank you, Cristina. And one of the things I want to just comment on, seeing the video, I saw a lot of smiling people, and that is not always the case on all corporate videos. So that's good, I think. Let's move to the joy economy, right? So thank you so much. So we're gonna jump into our next speaker, and Very happy to introduce Maha Elkharbotly, who is the Global Vice President, Business Line Special Nutrition, and who is also President iHealth of DSM and Nutritional Product. Maha is Egyptian and she studied economics. She also has an MBA and is another global citizen, global lady who's lived in many, many different countries. I see her Egypt, Ghana, Dubai, UK, US, and currently living in Germany, mother of two, and very passionate about the fact to do something meaningful in life, and therefore especially happy to work with DSM, that is a purpose-driven company. And Maha, I am so happy to have you here. I celebrate you and I wish you welcome. And the floor is yours, please.
Thank you very much, Cristina, and thank you for inviting me to be part of today's session. I'm truly looking forward to it, and I've already enjoyed meeting two new ladies. So thank you very much for having me here. So I'm actually here to speak to you today about our immune system and our health as, you know, as mothers, as women, as critical individuals in our households, as critical individuals in our organizations. But before I get started into this, I would like to tell you a little bit about who I am and why I even joined DSM. So as Kristen mentioned, I'm Egyptian, and I only joined DSM 3 years ago. And 3 years ago, my family and I were living in New York, and my husband is from Finland, and we really wanted to move back to Europe. And I reached out to a few headhunters to talk about what I wanted to do next. And one thing I was very, very clear about is, you know, I've spent a significant amount of time in the corporate world, and working in marketing and sales, I realized I can sell anything, and I can market anything. And it was time for me now to do something that meant something to me, that I felt was really making a difference. This was very, very, very important for me in this next phase. And I wasn't sure I even wanted to go back into the corporate world, or I wanted to go into an NGO. I just knew I wanted to do something meaningful. So I reached out to a few headhunters, and I said, this is kind of the line in the sand. And I got a call from a headhunter, and he said, we have a very interesting role for you. It's in Netherlands with a company called DSM. And I said, okay, I personally have never heard of the company before. I just have not in the industries I've worked with. So my first question was, what does DSM stand for? And the answer was, the DSM stands for Dutch State Mines. And I remember very clearly telling the headhunter, I said, you have the wrong candidate. And, you know, I am really not going into working for a mining company is not what I want to do in my career. I want to do something meaningful. And he told me, hold your horses. You need to know what DSM is. So we can go on to the next slide. What I found out just researching what DSM is, the first thing I found out is actually it's a company that is in 4 different arms or 4 different areas. And the biggest 2 areas it's in is about human health and nutrition and personal care, as well as animal health and nutrition. And I said, wait a second, this is very interesting. So this company that's Dutch State Mines is actually not in a mining company, but it's actually a company that is more than 2/3 of its business is coming from nutrition and health. And there's a part of its business, 1/3 that comes from materials. And I was very, very intrigued that as a company, there is a part of it that is called the Innovation Center that actually has a P&L and is being sectioned out as an critical part of this company and its business. And so that I started to get quite interested and intrigued to understand more. And obviously, it's a bigger company. It's 10 billion. I thought I was going to end up in an NGO, maybe 1 billion worth of a company, or even 100 million. But so it was very interesting to see how it was changing in my perspective of what this company is. Quite large, 23,000 employees. But what really struck me was doing my research with this purpose-led strategy, purpose-led. You know, better lives for all. And And we all hear this in a lot of companies saying, we're all about purpose, we're all about environment, we're all about the SDGs with the UN Sustainability Development Goals. And I have to say, going through the interviewing process and asking the questions, I realized that for DSM, it is not a statement. It's a DNA. It is what makes DSM what DSM is. And if we can go to the next slide, please. What really got me very intrigued and wanting to say, I want to hear more, to saying, this is the job for me, I want this job, was I found out more and more about, actually, it is the #1 supplier for vitamins, lipids, carotenoids. So basically, the ingredients that affect every single human being that is out there. So my mother, my father, my husband, my children, my cousins, to actually fundamentally make them healthier and to be individuals that are capable of actually living a long, extended life with mentally healthy environment. And that was very, very important for me. Also, I was very, very intrigued to hear that DSM is also investing and capturing a lot of the innovation and creating a lot of innovation. One of my favorite ones is human milk oligosaccharides, which is basically, it's one of the 16 ingredients in mother's breast milk that we humans don't really know how to make. And DSM, with its partners, was able to create part of that innovation. We do not know how to do all of it, but at least part of it, to be able to help mothers and babies and support them. If mom decides to use formula, then we are there for the mothers to help the children with their immunity, brain development, gut development, lung development. And that for me was, was something I felt I am actually going to make a difference every day. And to be part of this is something that is very, I would say, it's very empowering. But really what the deal maker for me was, and if we can go on to the next slide, please, was I found out I will be KPI, I will be bonus, I will be targeted, and I will be judged, okay, on delivering on our commitment for the UN sustainability, the SDGs, Sustainability Development Goals. So I am personally accountable every day in my decision-making on tackling malnutrition, on advocating for nutrition worldwide, and I am accountable and responsible for making decisions that's going to affect our climate. And I'm very proud that I am being judged by that. And I'm very proud of the fact that DSM holds each and every single one of us accountable to do this. Because if we are not accountable, then who is? And so with that, I felt this is definitely the job for me, and I've been here for the last 3 years. So about today and why I was very, very, very excited to speak with you ladies is because I genuinely believe, and if we can go on to the next slide, please, but not start the video, your health is your wealth. It is the fundamental important concept that we as the key holders to the household health and nutrition have to really grasp with. And it doesn't matter if mom is the working mom or a stay-at-home mom. Moms, via research, is proven to be the ones that are having the nurturing part, that are always the ones that are looking for the better quality food, the more healthy food, that the kids have had milk tonight, or they have taken their vitamins. And the more we understand of the fundamentals of the nutrition elements, the better off our society will become. And the more we take care of ourselves and our health, the more we are going to be able to enable our society and our families, and we are going to automatically also create that nurturing and automatically that support and that education into the rest of our community. And with this, if we can please start the video.
अरे सेहत की तिजोरी भर ले, बन जा पहरेदार तू, 2 गज की दूरी से होगी अब तो ये घुटर घूम, अरे 2 डाल पे पंछी बैठे मुंह ढक के गुफ्तगू, सारी बात पल्लू बांध लूं आएगा रे सावन फिर से वही जुस्तजू अरे भर ले सेहत की तिजोरी बन जा पहरेदार तू
Thank you. And if we can go on to the next slide, please. Thank you. So obviously the last message in the video said 3 out of 4 Indian women have vitamin deficiency. And I will take you through the slides and you're going to realize this is much more global than just in India. This is a fundamental, topic that we have to deal with globally. And the reality is, okay, that we are just one infection away from the next COVID, from the next SARS. So it is not that just, that we are going through a pandemic right now and the next one will not happen. It's the reality, it will happen. And even if we don't have to deal with a pandemic that's going to take a few years, the next influenza season is just a few months away, if not a few weeks already away. So, and what you realize from statistics is that we have 3 to 5 million cases a year of serious illnesses that happen by influenza and actually results in more than 500,000 potential deaths a year. So that's really significant numbers. If you look at also the respiratory infection numbers, more than 2.6 million deaths a year. So it's definitely something that is something we need to keep front of mind because it can happen to us, our families, or someone that's very close to us in regards to our communities. Obviously, the more the individuals that have a more severe diseases and illnesses, they obviously have a much higher risk of getting infected. So, and the reality is elderly children, pregnancy communities, these are the communities that have to truly pay attention to their health during, during these seasons and these, the influenza seasons, but also during the pandemic seasons. If we go on to the next slide, please. As much as I would love to say there is, one ingredient or one magic pill. Yeah, there could be a magic pill, but it would be this big. It would not be possible to swallow it, right? That could actually help us in regards to, being immune. That fundamentally doesn't exist. And it's not about a pill, it's about a lifestyle. And it's about what we eat and, what choices we make. And also the fact that we are more informed so we know what to take. And every specific, I would say, micronutrients actually relates to a specific immunity defense. But the reality is, if we look at bare minimum, we will need vitamin A, B6, B12, C, D, E, and we also need minerals like zinc specifically. That is just really critical for our immunity. And it's something that you have to take year round. It's not just you take it, 2 or 3 weeks before school starts, to give it to the kids before they go to school. The more steady and the stronger the immune system is throughout the year, the more it's able to fight and to deal with any, with any attacks on it, basically. So if we can go on to the next slide, please. This was actually one of my biggest surprises slides, I have to admit. And what this slide reads is the percentage of adults on the left that are below the level of required vitamin intake in their bodies and the different types of vitamin. And this is for the United States. And the reason I always put this in the front is because the United States is one of the largest dietary supplements intake markets in the world. And you see that, certain vitamins, are overall so high in the level of low intake that it's actually worrisome. It's worrisome. So especially now with COVID, and you look at the level and you look, vitamin D has had such front and center awareness, and still the intake is very, very low. And it's one of the very critical immune defense vitamins. So it is really important for us to be aware that certain vitamins that we might think we're taking enough of is actually, we are even below the level required for us to be healthy. Vitamin D, E, is one of the biggest offenders, I would say. Obviously, vitamin C, we all know, you know, if it's flu season, you're at least grabbing an orange, and that's very good. But there are other vitamins, especially D, that is really important for our immunity that I wanted to highlight. And if we go on to the next slide, please. Vitamin D and vitamin C, it really, you can take it by taking a pill, or you can also have a very well-balanced diet. You know, oranges, any of the citric fruits are also very helpful. So you see that, or even being exposed to the sun, and you can argue with vitamin D, you can argue, can you really get enough sun absorption? Yeah, in certain countries you can, in others you cannot. And being aware of that, that is really, really critical. But it's a balance of lifestyle, nutrition, as well as taking vitamins. There is no, in my humble opinion, there is no one solution that fits all. And there's every single individual, every single human has a different, their body processes food differently, and they absorb vitamin D from the sun differently. So it has to be a three-pronged approach to, you know, for you to be able to take care of your health and your immunity. And if we go on to the next slide, this is actually one of my favorite slides as well. Then you see it's if you have the right level of vitamin C, the number of days it takes you to recover. So if you don't have the right, you know, vitamin C in your body or the supplements to help you, you will take 10+ days. But if you are actually well equipped, or immune system is well equipped, you can go down to 8 days or even lower. So so you fundamentally see there is a track in regards to in regards to having a strong immune system and its effect on us. Obviously, you can argue it usually doesn't take 8 days, it takes less. Definitely, yes, or it takes more. I'm not going to disagree with you at all. But the point is, the more your immune system is equipped, the more it can fight. And vitamin C is one of them. Vitamin D, which is actually, I would say, a vitamin, which would be next slide, please, which would be a vitamin that got a lot of exposure during COVID, which I feel is it's one of the most critical vitamins for immunity. There's a lot of research now to prove that having the right vitamin D level and getting to that vitamin D level as quick as possible is of a tremendous support for your immune system. And getting there, obviously you can get dietary supplements that are right off the shelf, or if we go on to the next slide, there is a new form of vitamin D, which is called calcividol, which I personally take, and so does my husband. And what it does, it has, it's 3 times faster, so we can get absorbed in your body much faster. It's called bioavailability. That I would highly recommend for you to consider researching and looking into. DSM has a new product it's called MPD, that you can find in the US, or Fortero that you can find in the APAC region and China, as well as in EMEA. But it's this type of science that I feel very strongly about, positively, that we need to be aware of to be able to enable us to get to the levels that are needed to be able to fight and to be able to support our immune system. And bioavailability, which basically means how quickly your body absorbs it and doesn't just doesn't flush it out, is really important in any decisions you make with choosing the vitamins, especially if you do realize you have a deficiency in it. And if you do realize you have quite a deficiency and you need to monitor it, if you go on to the next slide, you'll start to see in the market a lot of personalized nutrition offerings. From DSM, we have developed, which is a personalized nutrition offer that enables you with testing tools as well as monitoring. It enables you to bring up your vitamin D level. So especially if you feel this is a serious issue that you have tested for and you know you have it, I would highly, highly recommend for you to not just take off the shelf dietary supplements, but actually to look at something that can enable you to get to that level a lot quicker, especially before the cold season, especially now with the COVID situation that we're in. And the vitamin D developers an example from DSM, but there are multiple examples also in the market that can also help you with that as well. And then if we go on to the next slide as well, please. Zinc is also another ingredient or another vitamin that also helps with the immune system, and it also affects different parts of your immune system. So you can't just say, I'm just taking vitamin C, or I'm just going to take vitamin D, or I'm just going to take vitamin E, and I'm going to be able to deal with any viral infections. It doesn't work that way. You need to have several of them, and you need to have all have to be at the right level to be able to fight together. So there is no, as I mentioned, there's no one secret pill or one secret move. And zinc really has proven to be also one of the critical ingredients where you need to take around 8 to 11 milligrams on a daily basis. And then omega-3s, which is our next slide, which is one of, I think this should be mom's favorite ingredient, because it has EPA and DHA. And basically that is the main ingredient that helps with children's brain development. So if you have a toddler, if you have a newborn, if you have a child that's younger than 3 years old, I highly, 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 highly recommend whether it's formula or dietary supplements with EPA and DHA in it, because other than it helps with the immune system, it helps with the respiratory also development, but it also helps with the brain development and also with the gut development. So that is, for me, one of the critical sauces. And if you add to it HMO, which is human milk oligosaccharides, then you are truly enabling your child to be healthier. And yeah, it's basically the support that we're giving them in their early years. So if we go on to the next slide, please. And this is basically saying, it's the same thing, it's just saying, going through all the vitamins that we have talked about, whether it's C, D, the omegas, the zincs, to be able to build really that strong immune system for your body that can handle, multi-different viral attacks on it in a way, especially doing it year round is going to be really critical in enabling all of us that with the next COVID, right, we're able to fight it much stronger. Because doing this on a short-term basis doesn't work. As I mentioned earlier in my title, I have also responsibility for the iHealth business, which is the DSM B2C business. And we see products with immunity now that in the US, kids are going to be going back to school 2 and 3 weeks before school starts. The performance very, very strong, and I'm really glad to see this, that moms are really paying attention and getting the kids on those products. But I also know it should have been like 6 weeks earlier as well. But obviously, better to start now than not. But 2 to 3 weeks right before school starts is sometimes not efficient enough for all the children, because we obviously have a variety of health elements for the children to be able to really be fully immune or ready for those viral attacks. And to help you and to be able to capture to be able to get some of the immunity products, if we go on to the next slide, please. What we have done is we have created a special code for the WIN community to give them 25% off of DSM, all of its B2C brands that you can buy online from the different websites. So Culturelle is the leading probiotics brand, and you can see there is a code WIN25. So if you go to the culturelle.com and use this code, you can get 25% off on any of the products that are on the website. Azo is a women's health brand. And it's also, you can get another 25% on it. And then Estroven is the menopause brand as well. And you can also get a 25% on it. So this is from the DSM to the WIN community to help you, enable you with, to really build up the family immunity. And with the next slide, and this will be the wrap for me, is that we believe every partnership, whether it's with our customers, with our suppliers, with our employees, with our colleagues, has an impact. And we believe every product has a purpose. And I am very proud that we at DSM are able to participate in this and to create this for our community. So with this, thank you, everyone. And And I think I'll hand it over to Kristen from here.
Thank you, Maha. This is excellent. And it's so wonderful to hear your enthusiasm too. And this is what we want, right? To have a job and to be part of something that really matches what we are all about, so that our enthusiasm can come out in what we do, because life is now, and that is also, besides what you talked about, I just also wanted to comment on how I experienced it. Maha, I was wondering, like, sometimes one would believe that it is enough to get your nutrition through healthy eating, right? But you also mentioned that is sometimes difficult. Do you believe something has happened with our food? Is it not as nutritious as before? What's your thought on that?
No, so first of all, I have to be very cautious in regards to, we have a very global community, right? So you cannot say any statements that would go kind of what I call a peanut butter brush statement, right?
Sure.
So, and the food systems change definitely across the world, right?
Yeah.
What I would just say is that to get to certain level of minimum requirements of certain vitamins in your body would require you to fundamentally eat a lot of certain vegetables or certain product. And to be able to get all the vitamins to that right level would require a significant amount of eating of a lot of vegetables, that it might not be humanly possible to have that fundamental intake for all of it to be at the right level.
Yeah.
This is why I'm really a fundamental believer it is a combination, right?
Yeah.
It is eating well, it is getting the right exposure to the sun, and it's also having the dietary supplements and nutrition to support, right? So one of the things I always say, if you're going to grab the milk, if you could, I personally would grab the milk that has enhanced vitamin D, right? So if you're going to grab a yogurt, I'll probably usually grab the yogurt that has an enhanced probiotics. So it's not just about a dietary supplement or eating more oranges. It's about a combination.
Yes. Oh, thank you. And I mean, this year, I think, has been also a wake-up call for a lot of people to really take care of their immune system. And as you said, there is more around the corner. And at the other year, at the big global conference, we had also world-leading virologists talking. And that was before COVID. And she was saying, this is just around the corner. And guess what? Half a year later, So I think we really need to take care of ourselves. And thank you for your insightful presentation.